Here's another surprising truth about faith. One of the quiet struggles in the life of faith is our desire to control the outcomes. We pray, we plan, we work hard, and often we expect that the result should unfold in a certain way. When it doesn't, frustration follows. We begin to wonder whether something went wrong. But faith has never really been about controlling results. Faith is about trusting God with them. Learning to release the outcomes is one of the deeper movements of spiritual maturity. It is the shift from trying to manage the future to learning to trust the one who already sees it. And that shift is often difficult because control feels reassuring. It gives us the sense that we do the right things, but we can guarantee what's going to happen next. Yet, real faith just doesn't work that way. Throughout the Bible, we're reminded that our responsibility is faithfulness, not the management of the results. We plant things, we water them, we show up, but the growth itself is something only God can bring. Letting go of outcomes is not the same as giving up. In fact, it requires a deeper kind of trust. It means we still care deeply, we still work diligently, and we still pray sincerely. But we loosen our grip on how the story has to end. When we do that, something surprising often happens. A peace begins to replace pressure. Much of our anxiety comes from trying to carry responsibilities that we were never meant to carry. We try to control timings, responses, our success, circumstances. But faith invites us to hand those things back to God. There's a moment when a person begins to realize I can be faithful without being in charge. And that realization is freeing. In many ways, life constantly reminds us of this principle. We can prepare and give our best effort, but the final result still includes factors beyond us. Anyone who plays golf understands this. You can line up the shot, you can make a solid swing, still watch the ball catch an unexpected bounce. Over time, golfers learn something very important. Focus on the swing, not everything that follows. Faith works in a similar way. We focus on our obedience, our trust, and showing up well. While living the outcome, well, that's in God's hand. And releasing outcomes also deepens humility. It reminds us that we are participants in God's work, not the directors of it. And often the outcomes we try hardest to control turn out to be smaller than what God was actually doing. This is especially true in seasons of waiting. Waiting stretches our patience because the results are still hidden. Sometimes the work of faith happens precisely in that space where outcomes remain uncertain. In that space, that faith becomes a deadly choice. To trust again and to keep going, and to believe that God is working even when we cannot yet see the result. Over time, something changes in a person who practices this kind of trust. The need to control every result begins to loosen. In its place grows a quieter confidence, the confidence that God's wisdom extends far beyond our plans. Because the truth is, outcomes were never fully ours to control anyway. Faith without control is not passive. It's an active trust. It is doing our part faithfully while placing the results in God's hand. And in the long game of faith, that act of letting go may be one of the clearest expressions of faith there is. Thank you for joining me today. This work exists to offer quiet, steady reflections for people learning to trust the long game of faith. Faith is a long game. Stick with it.